You're muted, JB.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the day two of the 5-day AI challenge. It is exciting to have you here. If you can see me, hear me, I was obviously on mute here, so now you can hopefully hear me. Go ahead and type in the chat where you're tuning in from. If it's your first day joining us, let us know that it's your first day. If you're returning, whether you were watching the replay from day one or you were live with us on day one, go ahead and let us know as well if you've caught up and you've watched day one training. We love to know and make sure that we are able to pick up right where we left off here. So great to have you here. Throw in the city, state, or country you're tuning in from. And if you are a first-time challenger or if you are returning, if you're returning from a previous challenge, or if you're returning for a second version of this because you had to stop in the middle of the last one. So we're glad to have you here either way. Just going to check some quick settings here, and then we will get off to the races. Here, perfect. So as always, we are live streaming on Facebook business page. So if you go to facebook.com/high-level-reviews, you'll be able to comment, respond, engage with me as we're doing the training. If you're in the Zoom meeting room, the chat is disabled on purpose, just so we can get all of the conversations and engagements on the Facebook Live. If you prefer to stay in the Zoom chat and communicate with us through YouTube, we also have a YouTube Live going on as well. But either way, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, we're streaming on all of them, and we're looking at all of them for your comments and engagement. Day two is all about the setup. So if you joined yesterday, whether you were watching the replay or if you were with us live, you were to go through the day one homework, which was going through the modules that our product team has put together, and then jumping right into day two, which is the actual setup of your gray label or white label version of high level, whichever you preferred. Let's say you didn't get to set up the domain, then it would be the high level domain that would be considered kind of gray label or just using the actual high level. But if you've added your domain and you've got your agency name and you have all those wires connected, then nobody should be able to know that high level unless they're familiar with our design, that high level is involved, because your domain name is designed to be the face of the software. So if you have any questions about that, go ahead and throw in the chat. Go ahead and throw in the chat Q and your question. And that way we can go ahead and get you the assistance you need throughout the live, whether it's with our agents, our superhumans behind the scenes helping our customers, or if it's just giving you a help doc and walking you through it as we're live. Either way is fine. Looks like we got a few folks here joining in. Welcome. Hello to Kashi from Minnesota, returning. Great to have you. Bill Quigley from Central Illinois. Great to have you, man. We got Ben Goss from Central Florida. George Williams from Charlotte, North Carolina. Excited to have you here. For those of you that have not had a chance to really dive into the 5-day AI challenge membership course, there's a wealth of information there, and let's call it the exact way to get everything set up step by step. These live sessions are designed to really add some context around the technical end that we've put together for you, as well as some strategy and an alternative point of view of things to complement what we've put together for you. But you got to get in the membership course to actually get your system fully set up to its requirements. Also, if you've signed up already through High Level, through the 5-day challenge website, you should have received a link to join our Facebook group. And as I mentioned yesterday, our Facebook group asks a couple quick questions to make sure that you're a valid challenger, you have a valid trial, and that you've gone through our prerequisite of to-dos, and then we let you right in. And then once you get in there, we ask you to please introduce yourself, so that way we can get you the help, support, and you can feel the collective energy in our group. So if you haven't done any of that, this is a good time to make your way over to the link below that is in the chats that my colleague Jordan, who's handling our moderation, is throwing out there, which is getting set up for a trial to high level. And then once you're set up for the trial through high level, you'll be able to jump into the 5-day AI challenge official course and experience. All right. So it looks like we got everything pretty much where it needs to be. We're going to get a strong start here into day 2. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Let me just pull up the YouTube to make sure we can get our friends on YouTube that are tuned in into the conversation. Okay. Welcome, Serena Dingus. Great to have you. Abhishek Admins, welcome from London. We're glad to have you. Okay. And we are all good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. We'll go over the agenda, and then we'll get into some of the components within the within the membership course, and then within actual high level. That way we could walk through that visual if you have not yet jumped into it. All right. So what we have here is our day 2 setup. That today's agenda is going to be revolving around exploring the agency view. So within high level, there's 2 views. You have the agency view, which is pretty much your all of your buttons, levers that give you full access to your account and to all of your customers' accounts. So that is like the master version of all the of everything. You turn things on and off there. You suspend, you stop, you activate, you give people access, all that good stuff. And it gives you a nice bird's eye view of what's happening in each of your customers' accounts without manually logging in or creating a username for each one. So you'll get full access to that. And we'll walk through what you should be looking at within those agency settings. We'll then go over we'll go over the overview of the sub account, which is pretty much where your agency account will live. So you have your agency view, which is pretty much all of your settings. And then you have sub account, which is where your, let's say, ABC AI agency for your business will be at. And then let's say your 4 customers, the gym, the doctor, the fitness trainer, the tanning salon, they'll be under your main account as a sub account too. So between your sub account and the 4 customers, you have 5 sub accounts. And the agency view gives you full control over all 5 sub accounts. So if you need to add users to a specific sub account, you need to add staff to view all the sub accounts. You need to limit viewing. You need to look at logs. All of that will be done in the agency view, and your sub accounts will be able to manage their individual activities and features and access within their sub account. Then we'll go over the snapshot. Snapshot's a term used within the high level community a lot. It's our way of pretty much putting all the automations, all the settings, everything that powers a sub account to get started right away. So think about this. Let's say, for example, you're working with a handful of fitness centers in your area, and you're a fitness center AI agency. You've put together a snapshot with all the settings, features, maybe some landing pages, some funnels, some websites, an AI questionnaire or process into a snapshot. And now you take that snapshot, and as a service, they sign up with you. You give them access to your snapshot for their sub account, and all the settings are good, ready to go. And that pretty much is like a copy and paste of your master settings, your master features and services for your independent sub account fitness centers that you're bringing on. And that becomes so powerful because it's almost like copy paste. We're going to copy this and we're going to paste it there. Oh, we got 15 of these to do? Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. And that allows you to be efficient, but also gives you the opportunity and the ability to really give everybody the same experience and repeat that over and over and over. And that's a big part of customer experience is, a predictable, repeatable process that you and your team, but also your customers can experience and they know what to expect. So we'll go over that. And by the end of this live, you'll understand a little bit more of what we put together in this day 2 setup in the membership course. And then you'll understand a little bit how this live version complements that with some additional nuggets, strategies, and things that you should consider when getting your account set up or just going back to some of the settings that maybe you didn't get completely set up. Okay. If you're tracking along with me along the way and you have any questions, you have any feedback, maybe you're a little bit more experienced with this process, feel free to chime in with any of your questions or experiences. That always helps. And the most important part here is to have a collaborative experience where, let's say you're at the middle part of your 5-day AI challenge because you got a head start a couple of weeks back or a previous challenge. Helping someone else out along the way goes a long way here, and we appreciate it very much. So the next thing we're going to be going over here with a live tour is a walkthrough. And the goal here is to go through some of the major components within High Level so you can visualize it, but then also have some lyrics or some ways of explaining it as you go. So we'll do a live exercise of that and go through all those different areas. And again, the overall goal of day 2 is to make sure your system is fully set up, that you've gone through the membership course, you've gone through each of the steps, set everything up, go live, get up your AI website, your snapshot, your automations, your conversational AI feature on, and start getting ready to go to market as early as today, if not tomorrow. And, you may have some sales experience, you may not have some sales experience. So you may wait a little bit until you fully get yourself out there. But regardless, having conversations, just being aware of how maybe you can help somebody is a good head start to tomorrow. And overall, our goal here is to get you your first paying customer, right? And you may be thinking, it doesn't sound realistic to me, John, or, that's too easy. Is that all we're doing? Right? Everyone's at different levels and different experiences. I think the biggest thing to really take away is to make sure you understand that there's a need for what you're offering. And the need is within the small to medium-sized businesses in your area or virtually within an area that you're familiar with. And allowing that business to incorporate an AI assistant that you've set up for them to answer their questions, whether they're frequently asked questions, whether it's booking appointments, whether it's just giving hours of operation, or if you offer a service or you don't, speed to question, right? Just giving them what they want when they want it at whatever time they're asking for it. And as you do that, you get your first customer from that, you really it starts to click a little bit quicker. You're like, all right, this is now working. I understand what we did. I got this customer through a referral. Now they have 2 referrals that they want to pass on to me, their brother and their best friend. I can do this because they're in the same industry. Now it makes sense what John was talking about with the snapshot. Now it makes sense that why they really need this, because it's very time consuming. And you start to build this understanding that you just helps you tell the story better, right? Tell the story to an experienced techie business owner or an inexperienced, afraid of tech business owner. At the end of the day, AI is going to fill the gap for their business, whether they could afford to hire someone dedicated to do that job or not. And we want you to feel comfortable sharing that story. So we're going to give you everything you need to do so. And in doing so, you will need an account within High Level to get the snapshot, to get everything up and running. So I've come across lately that we have a lot of folks that are joining in from the sidelines because they either found out about High Level through a live recommendation stream or like a For You page. We've found out that people are, sharing links to their network or to their groups. And doing so, they're getting the live version, but they're really missing out on the most important stuff, which is the membership course, the setup, the actual access to high level, and the bonuses that we've put together to help you go to market. So we've put a handful of bonuses of paid ad templates, presentation kits, automations, processes, handouts, things that you can use, scripts that to help you build up your pipeline, right? So if you don't have an account, the Getting Started link here will get you a trial account right away. And if you are an existing customer, please include the request to get access to the course, and we'll get you access. If you have not already signed up, you'll need to do so. We'll point you in that direction as well. But this is for new people that don't have an account and existing customers, both of which can take advantage of this. And, really just to sum up what we went over yesterday here, you can watch the replays from the Facebook groups. We have a featured section in the Facebook groups. If you're part of any of the high-level community pages, it'll be right up top, day 1, day 2. And that'll be available immediately after we end this live. And then we also have it on YouTube, and you could do a search on our website as well. And really, in order to successfully complete this challenge and really put everything together to give yourself a chance to really get that first customer, you need to complete the daily course material in the membership course section. You need to attend the replays, or at least the live versions, as much as possible to connect the two with strategy, concept, and theory, and action items. And then whether it's an accountability partner or just a pod of like-minded people that you guys are asking each other questions, you're responding to each other, that also helps tremendously. Just to maybe have someone check over your work, or maybe just, help you with a question that you just can't find the answer to, right? So those are the 3 components of really becoming successful with this. And as always, it's very important that I share this with you. Please don't suffer in silence. Please do not spend hours trying to figure this out. We have hundreds of superhumans that are working behind the scenes to serve our trial customers, those that just signed up for a free trial, and our full service paying customers. And you could experience that support with those superhumans by going to speakwith.us/success. And you will need an account. It'll ask you to log in. And that's just to filter out anyone that doesn't have an account. And we'll get you the help you need, whether it's through Zoom or live chat. There are some options that you can take advantage of. But this is the link to really, really fast track any learning curves or any frustrations you might have because something's not working and you feel that you followed it line by line through the course. So this is a great resource. We always get compliments on the amount of help that people receive from this, and it's open to you for no additional charge. So before we jump through the walkthrough, I do want to touch on the definition of snapshot and what it does. So as I mentioned before, you have your original sub account, which is your sub account for your agency. We'll call that the original sub account, right? That's your AI marketing agency sub account. That's where you do business from. Then we have additional sub accounts, let's say the other sub accounts, and that is where you will have your customers or your betas use. They'll have their own sub account for their own business, right? So in the original sub account, which is your agency sub account, let's say you create a snapshot that has a handful of features, action items, and everything kind of connected the way you want it to work. And let's say you have that sub account specifically for fitness centers. So you label that sub account, you label that snapshot fitness centers only, right? And then you save it. Within High Level, and I'll walk you through this as we do the tour, you can go ahead and share that snapshot to your customer. There are a handful of folks in our community that create custom snapshots and sell them, whether it's a one-time fee or a monthly fee. And some of them include updates, and some of them are just a one-time snapshot design. So there's flexibility that you'll have with creating your own snapshots and sharing them. And what's really nice about it is you have control of that snapshot. If you need to replenish it or refresh it with new add-ons that you've added, you'll have access to that as well, right? And a snapshot is pretty much a template of particular sub-account of a particular sub-account that's used to transfer items. And these are features within high level. The funnels. Let's say you create a handful of funnels for a specific business. Calendars. Maybe you have different calendars for different reasons. The workflows. Let's say you have a social media engagement. You have a missed call text back. You have a welcome cadence or an onboarding automation. Any custom websites that you create within that snapshot. Maybe you're creating some templates that could be picked from, or maybe you have just 3 templates that they'll use for different reasons. Any custom values. And what's really nice about custom values is it allows you to add placeholders within your websites, within your calendars, within your workflows and automations and funnels. Anywhere within high level that has customization, you can add these custom values where if you share the snapshot, it'll actually fill in their name, their company name, their phone number. Any custom fields will get filled in automatically as long as it's filled in their sub-account at the registration. And that is very powerful and very important because, to have a customer or yourself spend the time to run through a checklist of making sure, we replace this name with that name or this information with that information does take time. So we've made these custom values to really just plug and play, as well as trigger links. And this is something that a lot of our community members and customers use, is where if you click on a link that's in an email or in a text or in some sort of messaging, it then sends a notification and triggers additional steps because of it. So let's say, for example, we have a trigger link for a Zoom meeting link, like a Zoom meeting button. So let's say I send an email out to you all and it says, hey, super excited to see you for the 5-day AI challenge. Click the link, click the button below to get into the Zoom room. Well, when you click on that button, there's a trigger link that's connected to it that lets me know that you clicked it, and then it puts you in a different bucket of messaging as well as follow-up and notifications because you took action on it. So because you took action on it, there's different things that we would like for you to see and experience. And you could do the same for your customers and for your customers' customers. This also includes messaging templates. So let's say you want to create a handful of text messages in a certain order to go out for certain reasons. Email messages, social media messages, anything with messaging. You're able to create it, essentially templatize it with the custom values. And then when that snapshot is installed, they're able to just plug and play. And that's the most exciting part of this. And this is why snapshots are like really a hot commodity at high level, because there's so many different ways to do so many different things with our features and the operating system as a whole. And that creativity, depending on the level that we're at or the experience or the use case, may not come naturally. And that's like almost like a cheat code for a video game, right? If you remember, like back in the day, Sega Genesis, Nintendo, Atari, whether you're an 80s babies and 90s babies, cheat codes were like a big thing, right? I just brought back some old school memories. There used to be a company called Game Informer. They used to have like magazines where it had like articles, like it was the YouTube back in the day, but the magazines for video games. And, growing up, we'd always find like the cheat codes, like, how do we do this combination, or how do we get to this level, or how do we get past this? Well, the snapshot is that fast track cheat code for your customers to get everything they need to excel and get their business started. And the idea behind this feature is it allows you as the agency owner, as the service provider, whether it's for the AI agency or all the services you're offering, as part of an expansion offer, to customize these assets and settings so it could be plug and play and they could experience it. And that minimizes the time, the energy, and the learning curve. So again, if you are experiencing an issue, you're unsure what to do, how to do it, jump to the Speak With Us/success and make sure that you are jumping into help.gohighlevel.com. So I want to just show this before we jump into the actual walkthrough of the features. So let me jump in here. So this is help.gohighlevel.com. Again, I repeat some of this stuff, frequently because it's so important, and sometimes people they don't grasp the importance of it because they're new to the whole setup. So help.gohighlevel.com is your instruction manual to the software. It includes videos, step-by-step tutorials, pretty much everything and anything regarding high level. And it complements any chatter in the Facebook groups and any other YouTube videos that maybe someone creates around a feature or a use case of high level. We have a very, very popular, busy contributor culture of influencers and affiliates and just people that really are passionate about high level, that they share best practices, they share some of their experiences and how to overcome maybe that learning curve. And you could take that video or that article or that feedback and then cross-reference it to the high level support portal. So this is very important to bookmark help.gohighlevel.com. Okay. So with that being said, let me just jump here real quick. So I want to jump into a couple quick questions here as we go. Kashif, yes, Grand Theft Auto, definitely cheat codes for that you need. So I agree. Mario Lebrondi, your question was, do we have two separate logins for our agency and then our sub account? I lost that. For the university. I noticed I have to keep resetting my password. Mario, so when you signed up for your trial, you get access to the agency view that houses the university as well as all of your sub accounts and those features. So you only need one login. Your one login gives you access to everything. Now, if you add a user to your account, you can limit what access they have to your agency view as well as to your sub accounts and what they can do and what they can't. As for why you're required to change your password each time, I don't know why. It could be that you haven't set up two-factor authentication, or it could just be when you created the password, you might have mixed up something. But definitely jump into the speakwith.us/success if you reset your password again and it doesn't work. Okay. Let's see what we have here. If there's any other questions. So Ben, you had a question around why is there so much on just setting up an account? Great question, Ben. This does come up often. So what we want to do here initially with the 5-day AI challenge is that we want to get you acclimated with all the potential features that most people excel to start using after they get started. So for example, let's say you get set up with the AI challenge, you install the snapshot in the day 2 setup, and you do not set up your lead connector phone system. You do not set up your email messaging, right? And you do not set up, let's say, your domain, right? Everything else will still work. But here are the restrictions you're going to have. If you decide to turn on the text messaging component within high level for AI acknowledgement, that won't be available because your SMS is not activated. Same with email. It's not going to be able to grab email or send out email responses if that's not fully set up, right? And then obviously for the domain is not required, but what we want to do is prepare you so that way if you go to market quicker than you expected and you don't want people to sign in through app.gohighlevel.com, you maybe want them to sign in through app.youragencyname.com. They'll know that it's you offering the service and not go directly to high level to purchase it from us. So, we want to make sure that we're really behind the scenes on this, because our platform was created for marketers to serve small to medium-sized businesses, not for us to go directly to small to medium-sized businesses. So that's why we want you to set all this up, so that way you're not having to backtrack and do it all, as you're already, running fast, right? Let's see here if there's any other quick questions here. All right, just scanning through this here briefly. Class, rather than your, okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, looks like I covered everything here. Oh, hold on, sign up for the AI challenge. Okay, so Kaylee, it looks like Jordan is working with you to get you access to the actual course. You do have to sign up for it. Looks like you did. So we'll just do some checks on the back end to get you access to that course. And there's we've made a note already. Michael, your question was, am I the only one that doesn't have a good grasp of this AI capability? So with the AI capability of high level, there's so many different avenues to go. So let me see if I can bring some clarity here for you and for anyone else that just may not get a full understanding. The way that we're going to use the conversation AI, and I'll walk you through this as we go into the walkthrough in the actual app. The way that we're going to use the conversation AI is through the live chat feature. So if you set up your day 2 and you've installed the snapshot, you've installed the website, you've activated the live chat, you'll notice and see how that live chat starts to help you and your visitors answer the questions they have, or you submit some test questions around the service you provide. And what it's designed to do when it's set up completely is you're going to add a handful of questions and answers, and we're going to walk through that together here shortly. And when a question comes in through the live chat, the Q&A that you've already trained the conversation AI bot to respond with will take over from there. And you can then determine what information you want to collect, and then what's the next step. Is it a booking? Is it giving information? Is it pushing them to a sign-up website, or contacting them again, through email or text? So we're going to walk through the conversation AI feature, show you how it's fully set up, so that way you could kind of see it in action, if that helps for you, Michael. And if you have any more questions around that, definitely jot it down, and I'll go a little bit more in depth as needed. But I believe that the walkthrough is going to really make a difference for you as you see me go through it. Okay, Jenny, if I have not listened to day 1, should I be in day 2? You could stay for day 2. Day 1 was more of an introduction. Today, we're going to really get into the platform, as well as the action items that you need to do for it to kick off and pretty much go live today. You're going to go live today, right? Looks like I've covered a handful here, and all great questions, and these questions come up multiple times. So I'm hoping that whether you're watching this on the replay, or this was a question that you had in mind but didn't get to ask, that we got you in the right direction, okay? So let me go ahead and move a few things around on my screen, and get going here. One moment. All right. Let me go to my Zoom. Okay, and share. All right. So let's get into it. So this here is the agency dashboard view. So this won't be on your version, right? It'll be a placeholder of some sort, or maybe you've added your logo already. But to change this logo that shows up on all of the accounts, you'll go into your company tab, and in your company tab, you can go ahead and add your logo and change if you want light mode or dark mode. So this company tab gives you a whole bunch of settings for you to customize as needed, right? So that's important to keep in mind. When you log in, it'll revert to this page. And then when you need to switch to a sub account, you'll go to your sub account. So my sub account is the 5-Day AI Challenge Acquisition Snapshot. That's what we've named it. So I'm going to log into now my sub account that I also use to market my AI agency to get small to medium-sized businesses to become my customer. And then after I get them to become my customer, I then create a sub account. And let's say the next sub account that I create is for Baking Wonders. Baking Wonders, right? So Baking Wonders will have their own sub account that I'll jump into and see what they're doing or set things up for them through their sub account settings. All right. If you have any questions around that concept, that process, jot them down. Some people grab it quick. Others just take a little bit of time to understand the who, what, where, how, and why. So we're here to give you a hand and get you all the clarity you need. So I'm in my 5-Day AI Challenge sub account, right? And if you followed the steps in the order that they were in, you should have your domain name, app.youragencyname.com. If not, you can go back to it. But more importantly, you've then installed your snapshot, the 5-Day AI snapshot. And when you installed it, it shared with you what was being transferred over. So I'm going to walk you through what comes with that snapshot so you know where to go if you have not yet customized it or got that far. So we're going to go to the marketing tab. I'm sorry. We're going to go to the, let me change this here. We're going to go to the Sites tab first. Sites tab. Okay. And in the Sites tab, we're going to go to website. So here's something I just want you to keep in mind on how the navigation is set up within High Level. You have the left side panel. When you click on that, you have the top toolbar, which gives you all of your services and features. And when you click on it, it goes to that dedicated page with all the settings and buttons and levers to pull. So in this case, with the 5-Day AI Challenge, we gave you an agency website, not a funnel, a website. So we'll click on websites, and it was labeled 5-Day Challenge website. Now you could change the name if you want, but this is just what it was named standard. Okay. If you click on the 3 dots, you'll be able to edit, clone, and do any additional settings. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on it. And when you click on it, you'll notice that there are several pages that were already pre-built for you. So you have the home page, the pricing, the sales calendar, onboarding questionnaire, right? And then again, you have the top toolbar, which is the actual services. So if I click analytics, it'll take me out of the website section. But if you look below the 5-Day Challenge website, you'll see additional toolbar that has the pages, the stats, any sales, security, events, settings. So just keep that in mind that there's a sub toolbar under the actual 5-Day Challenge website, right? And when you go here, I just want to cover a couple of best practices. You can edit the website. You could edit the website. I believe it does give you maybe 1 or 2 revert back. But my recommendation is until you get really comfortable and confident with this, I recommend that you go to the 3 dots and you clone it, right? And you click clone, right? And you just want to clone page in this website, right? You want to clone the page in this website. And that's basically saying that you want to clone it within where you're at. It's not, you don't want to clone it and put it on a different sub account, right? And my recommendation is that once you cloned it, you could go in and edit it. You could go in and edit it. And let's say you want to edit some of the colors. You can click on the box here. You could go to the settings. and edit the colors as needed. So you have the flexibility. If you want to edit the name of the buttons, you want to edit your logo or add your logo, you want to edit the image, the wording of the image, everything here is all editable. You could all edit, change it as needed. And because you made a clone, if you make a mistake or you're not happy with it or you're doing some A/B testing, you can go ahead and undo it or just delete it and keep your original. Totally up to you. But just make sure that when you publish it, you're just running through a quick test to make sure that all the buttons work and all is well, right? So this is your main page of your AI agency website. You can hover and make changes, and all of that is here. And as you can see here, these are the custom values that automatically fill in as needed, right? Because my information is already in this sub account, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I don't want to save any changes here, right? But if I did, I would hit publish and save, right? So in this case, I'm going to just delete this clone because I don't need it. And because I'm going to delete it, it's just confirming. Any questions on this? On this particular example, do you have any questions around editing your 5-day AI agency main page? Any questions around the custom values, the images, or just the sites tab, and then getting into the toolbar section where you have additional access? If you have any questions, jot them down. I'll try to respond to them in real time here as we go. So that way we can keep this going. So I'm going to check my notes here. So Christina, I agree. It's a great feature to clone the page. We learned through experiences that we think we know what we're doing exactly with, new programs and stuff. And Proactive says clone it in case you mess it up. You don't have to rebuild everything from scratch. Inderpreet Singh can attach one domain on one sub account. So you can add multiple domains and then attach websites or funnels to those domains. If you go to help.gohighlevel.com, there's more details and instructions on how to do that. Let's see here. Can you have several websites and funnels within a sub account? Yes, you can. It's just a matter of going step by step to make sure you're connecting them properly and that your domain DNS is set up, right? And we've actually made it really easy to manage your DNS. So if you use Cloudflare, we have a simple process that you connect to your Cloudflare account. If you use GoDaddy or Google or any of these other services, we have some support information on how to do that as well. So looks like there's no further questions on this in particular. So we're good to go. All right, so editing the homepage, all for you to do. You know how to do it. Going to the pricing page, it's important. It's important to keep in mind that this is set up at the $97 a month package, but it's easy just to change this to $197. Right, so you could go ahead and change it to $197, but that's standard at $97. If you want to change this to AI Executive Assistant, right, or you want to call it the AI Fitness Assistant, whatever you want to name it, you can do so. You want to change the colors, the font, you want to add additional inclusions to what's part of it, more than welcome to. Again, go with cloning it, making those changes, publishing it, and then making it live, right? So you have that flexibility there. I'm not going to save anything on here, right? Next section here is the calendar. So the sales calendar allows you to book, demonstrations, sales appointments, and this calendar lives in its own section in High Level. This is just the interface, experience. So if you were to want to make some changes to the actual calendar, I will show you where to go for those calendar settings. Now, keep in mind, there are two calendars part of this snapshot. You have the sales calendar, And then you have the onboarding calendar. So you want to keep in mind which calendar settings you want to change, right? And there's a handful of settings when it comes to, time zone, gaps between the next appointments. I'll walk you through it here briefly. Very robust, very a lot of customizations available. And there's a pro and a con to it, right? So the pro is that you can create this to where you want it to be for the result you're looking for. The con is that if you don't do enough research or follow through what the information we provide through the course or through the help guide, help.gohighlevel.com, you may not turn on the right features that give you the result you're looking for, which means like reminders, right? So keep in mind with the sales calendar or any calendars, reminders go out typically through email and text message. So if those features are not activated within your initial setup, then those reminders won't go out, and that's important, right? That's the purpose of the calendar. So this is how all of these features complement each other, right? So we have the sales calendar. Duplicate version of that's the onboarding calendar. It just has a different calendar hub, so that way we're not double booking. And if you want to share appointments with different agents or you want to handle different appointments on different days of the week and different times, you won't have conflicting appointments, which is important, right? Because if you have someone looking to book a sales call at 12 Eastern, and then you have someone that's trying to book a onboarding at 1 Central, right? You're going to have some conflicting depending on how long the appointment is, as well as time zone, so on and so forth. So you want to make sure that that's set up. So let me show you where to go for that, right? So to really have full control of your calendars, you want to go to the left-hand side, click on calendars. Then you want to go to calendar settings on the top toolbar. And this is where you're going to see the 2 calendar sections. So you have the onboarding calendar. We'll head over to the right. Action drop down. We'll click on the 3 dots. We're going to go to edit. And this is where you can add a logo. This is where you could change the name of the calendar, a brief description, any URL, the custom values, right? So these are the custom values that we spoke about, right? So if you're using a Google Meets link, this will be a different custom value. This is set up for a Zoom link. And then as you go on the left, there's availability. So here's where you could adjust your availability hours. And you'll notice here, like to the right, date specific hours. If you hover over this button here, it'll be a little bit more specific of what that means. You can duplicate it, close it, cancel it. You can determine if it's a recurring meeting. So there's all these settings here that play a big part with intervals between meetings, any scheduled timing, whether it's someone cannot book an appointment within 24 hours or 3 days. There's a lot of customization, like I mentioned before. And then if you're incorporating the calendar with forms and payments, you can make those adjustments, turn on accept payments, and then you have notifications, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of details here to be aware of. And this is just for the onboarding calendar. So if you only edit this one, this is the only one that'll have those changes done. And you'll need to then go to the sales calendar and do the same, or adjust as you want for the sales calendar, right? And as you go to the top toolbar, there's preferences, availability, connections, integrating your calendar with, Google, local service ads. There's just so much, right? And we can't go over all of it now, but I just want you to have a visual of where to go to learn further, right? So we go to help.gohighlevel.com for the instruction manual. And then we go to, the calendars tab to really understand and start pulling the levers and pushing the buttons, right? So we're going to make our way back to where we were at here, which was sites, websites, and then the 5-day challenge website. And then the last one here to show you is the onboarding questionnaire. Now, this could be something that you send and you customize, or this could be something that you use or your VA uses or your partner uses or a helper uses to just gather the information that you want That's like the official contact information for your customer, the official business name, the official address, all the official details. And then if uploading their logo, their website, and then some questions to keep in mind, right? All these questions may not be applicable, but if you have an understanding of what questions you should be asking, these questions will complement each other. So that way you can create the AI conversation bot to match their business personality, right? So you'll have that flexibility here. And if you need to adjust those questions, you just hover over it and you could adjust the questions as needed, right? So there's a lot of flexibility here. Again, same concept, clone the page. And then I always recommend to do a little mobile check. Mobile ready is always important. Click on the mobile mode, just make sure it aligns right. It's smooth sailing for your customers, right? So this mobile view gives you the mobile optimization look and feel, and then the desktop. And then, these buttons above for the website have everything to do with layers, any more custom designing, any tracking codes, any pixels you want to add. If you want to add any custom CSS, any custom fonts, backgrounds, any pop-up settings to capture information. But what's really, really important is to make sure that you're adding some SEO data to it, right? So making sure you have the preview link set up right, the titles, the description of the page, any assorted keywords you want to relate to it, your social image. So if this page is shared, what's the image that's attached to this page, as well as links and tags and any languages. So there's a lot of flexibility here with languages, and your SEO is so important. So make sure you're plugging that in. If you need help with understanding the who, what, where, how, and why, go to help.gohighlevel.com, jump to our speakwith.us/success, and you'll be able to kind of piece together and get your questions answered, right? So we have all this set up here. I'm not going to save anything for right now, just because I want to leave everything as is. And then, these settings here really help you get the stats of what's happening and what's going on, any security settings, all that good stuff. So any questions on the website, right? So part of the snapshot, as you installed it, you receive this website, all the pages that I walked you through, and you received the settings associated with the calendars. Any questions on how to edit that? Any questions around omitting something or making changes to something? Go ahead and throw that in the chat for me here, whether it's on facebook.com/high-level-reviews, or whether it's on our live stream on YouTube or on our live stream on LinkedIn. Any of those are great places, and we'll do our best to get to you. If we don't get to your question during the session, I promise you we will respond back and get you the assistance you need for sure, right? So we've gone over the website portion. We're going to move on if there's no questions coming up here. So Mark R, where are the images kept? So here's what I'll do. When we go to the Sites tab, right, and let's just go to Pages, and we'll go to Edit. This is from Mark R. His question is, where are the images kept? And as we go here, let's say I want to make a change to this image right here. I'll go to the image options. I'll click on the image button. I'll go upload from media library. And the media library is within High Level. So it's all the images that you upload are uploaded to the High Level cloud. And you could also create images using AI, but you'll be able to upload a file. So essentially, I recommend create a folder, right? So let's say this is main page images, right? So we want to create that folder first. And then once we create that folder, we'll open that folder, and we can start to upload images to that folder, right? And then as we go, let's say we're going to change photos in the calendars, calendar images, right? Let's say we're going to change the photo to the onboarding form. Right, so as I'm adding these folders, I then can click on the folder, upload a file, and as I upload the file, right, let's just say I upload this file here. Now this file stays within the onboarding images, and maybe I want to add my photo so they could put a face to the name. They understand who's going to be onboarding them, and now I'm good to go. So now let's say I need to use this onboarding form image again. I go here and it's saved, right? Let's say I want to create an AI image. I'm looking to create a welcome image that says onboarding. Right, so I want to do 3 variations. Okay, click generate. Let's see what it does. Okay, this didn't do it the way I needed it to. So this is a setting. So generate new content. So this is pretty much not exactly what I wanted. So I'm doing something wrong. This is a user error. So let's see here. Try an example. Vintage. Okay, so this is more. So right, in a perfect world, you expect AI to do everything for you. So this is more around. This is a new feature. This is more around images, placeholders, incorporating it. So if you're using Canva, maybe you jump into Canva, and when you go into Canva, you create a an image. So I'll give you an example here, because you'll start to start using different programs to collaborate different things. So let's go. Let me just try something here to show you. Header. And I'm going to share my screen here. So let's say, for example, what I was trying to do was like a welcome onboarding. Okay, so I go to Canva. I got the free version, right? And let's say I go here to this this banner. This is Pro. Let me get this one here's better. So customize this template, and let's go here. AI fitness assistant. Your journey starts today, right? And let's say just say it's AF is our name here, right? And then we do a heading, right? So I want you guys to feel confident in like just being able to put placeholders and just get like version 1 going. Welcome to onboarding, right? So we go here, and then we're going to go share. We're going to save. Okay, download. All right, is that downloading? We're now going to go to our onboarding form section. I'm going to upload that. What was this called? Here we go. So we have this welcome to onboarding, right? So that's uploaded now into the cloud, right? I'm going to go to the back button. I'm going to click back again. I'm going to go to my onboarding page, my onboarding questionnaire page. I'm going to clone it, clone page in this website. Right? I'm going to click edit. Right? And now I want to add this image on the top. I just want to add a little bit of of a vibe to it, right? It's not perfect, but I just want to add something. So I'm going to go up here. Let me undo this. Okay, so I'm going to click this plus sign up top left, right? And I'm going to add a row. So if you're in web dev, right, you do this with your eyes closed. If you're new to this, when you're adding new elements, you got to add a row, right? And then as you add a row for the size that you want, you click add element, and then you're able to add an image in that element. So I'll go image, right? And then I'm going to go to this image here. I'm going to upload. I'm going to go to my onboarding form, and it just uploaded the image I created, right? So I've added, and again, maybe it's some color I add to it, whatever the case may be. I just want you to see how easy it is. Plug and play. I jumped into Canva. I tried the AI tool, right? I don't use it every day, so it didn't work the way I wanted it to. I went to Canva. From Canva, I went to templates. I picked a template, a free version, made some changes, downloaded it, uploaded it to my cloud in high level, added a new element, added an image in the element, and it's here, right? With that example, does that help you just kind of see how easy this is with a little bit of practice? Does this give you some extra confidence that, all right, I could customize this? And yes, it's going to take some time, but it's doable, even though I'm not techie, right? Or let's say you have someone do it for you. You at least know the process that needs to be done, right? You don't have to be the chef, right, to get the food made. But if you have the recipe and you can have the chef make the food off your recipe and guide the chef, well, then that's good too. So you have that flexibility, whether it's hands-on or done for you as a coach, you guiding the person that's doing it, right? So we're going to move on from here. I'm going to not save any of this, right? Because I want to leave it as is. I'm going to delete my clone, right? So I don't get confused here. And we used a couple things here. We used, Canva free version, and we just customized our page a bit, right? So awesome. Let me X out of this here. All right. Let me get to my next thing here. Okay, so we went over the agency view, but I want to go a little bit more in depth. So I'm in the sub account view, but now it says switch to agency view. Right. And in agency view, this is where there's a few things that you'll be doing here, right? These are all the services and access that you have. But first and foremost is your settings. So if you go to the settings tab, for the conversation AI, you will need to make sure you turn it on, right? So in this case, we have a handful of sub accounts here, right? But we know the name of the sub account that we're using is the 5-day AI challenge acquisition snapshot. So we want to make sure that this is enabled. And this is going to say that it's going to cost you 2 cents per message. And I still need clarification. I still need more information. This will get you right to the help doc. Right? So this help doc gives you a little bit more clarity as well, right? So this is turned on for this sub account or any sub accounts, then the conversation AI will work. The conversation AI will work. If this is not turned on, you're gonna run into a standstill because this is required to be on the agency level, right? So now that this is on, let's go to a couple of other areas here. So another area is the sub accounts, right? And here is where if you are creating your own AI agency or a sub account for a customer, this is where you'll create that account for them. So let's say you brought on a limousine company, right? It's now time to create an account for them. You'll click create sub account, right? You'll see if there's a snapshot related to their business, right? If there's not, that's fine. You could do blank snapshot. But I want to give you an example just with the preset snapshots that are in here. Let's say you're working with a bookkeeper, right? You'll click on Setup Guide, and this will give you a video as well as what it includes, everything you need to know about what's in this snapshot so you can take advantage of it and use it. And you can also educate your customer on what is on, off, or available, right? So this walks through step by step everything that you need to do within the snapshot, very detailed from each feature, all it's related to, right? And this is for pretty much all of our preloaded snapshots. So car detailing, graphic designer, family lawyer, chiropractor, gym, right? So let's say, for example, the gym. We'll load up this snapshot for the gym. We got a short video that goes into it, what it's included, the setup guide, how to set it up, everything associated with it. Very in-depth from text to pay, to domain, to website, to review calendar, reputation management, the whole nine, right? Then you'll click continue. And then here's where you'll search for the business, or you'll add them manually, right? So you can add them manually or search. If you search for the business, you just want to confirm that the business name, the phone number is for the actual business that you're working with. It's for the actual business that you're working with. You don't want to set up a whole other business name and have to undo everything. And it just doesn't, it's not a good look if you put the same business name, but it's in another state or another part of the world. So you'll plug in all the information here that have asterisks. And this is all for a reason. Like the time zone connects with the calendar. Zip code connects with other features, the country, the city. All these details really allow you to navigate through your customers without going through spreadsheets or different areas. Okay. So this is where you create your sub accounts. There are different modes within High Level. You have, your $97 plan, which is like your independent agency plus sub account. You have your agency plan, which is your account plus unlimited sub accounts. And then you have the SaaS mode. And the SaaS mode is the $497 plan. And that plan includes access to the SaaS configurator. And this is where you could create all your pricing, your packages, and set up all the automation of what it does on your behalf when someone signs up, the security, so on and so forth. And SaaS stands for Software as a Service. There are many companies out there that are millions and millions and millions of dollars in revenue that they offer SaaS, meaning Software as a Service. And when someone signs up, it automatically gets them up and running. So think about this. You have your pricing plans on your website. Someone is looking for a solution, whether you've chatted with them before or they found out about you through a referral. They go to your website, they sign up, and they get immediate access to the platform without you doing anything. Now, by all means, you'll reach out to them, or maybe you have a snapshot that automatically reaches out to them and starts to onboard or get the onboarding process started. Maybe you get on a quick Zoom call or a phone call to welcome them. So there's a whole process that I'll be going over with you in day 3, 4, and 5 that'll touch on that. But I just want to give you the big picture on how this SaaS mode works, because getting started fast is important, and then nurturing it as we go is even more important, right? So real exciting stuff here as you really start to learn more and get into the understanding of what does what and how can it help me, grow my SaaS business, right? So we have that here. That's as much as we're going to do here, right? That's as much as we're going to do here outside of the university, getting to the course on how to set everything up. But there's so much more here. And if you go to help.gohighlevel.com, you'll be able to walk through what other features and what it does, right? So the next area we're going to go to now is the Lead Connector phone. So the Lead Connector phone, you'll need to go to 2 places. So first, you're going to go to the agency view, and you're going to click on phone integration, right? Phone integration. And this is where, if you have a sub account, this is where you will enable, disable different features, click on the pencil, and you could go ahead and start to go through the process, right? But in order to activate the phone, you need to activate it through the agency view. And then when you go to the sub account, so let's go to the sub account view, which is your customer's view, right? You'll click on settings, and then you'll go to phone numbers. And now, again, the left side was the main category, so we clicked on phone numbers. And now we're going to work off the top toolbar, right? Top toolbar. Now, in order to activate a phone number, you have to go through what's called the Trust Center. And this Trust Center is, it's called A2P, Application to Person Messaging, right? And this is state, country, federal regulation to protect consumers from unsolicited messages, and it's outside of high level. So we have to follow the rules, as well as other software companies, when messaging from an application like high level to a person, right? So we've put together, because not all companies do this, we've put together a streamlined process that if you go button by button, it will walk you through step by step what you need to do. And that will help you get through the registration and validation process. And then typically it may take a few days to up to a week or so, depending on the volume. And we'll give you the updates as we receive them. So this Trust Center is a different interface than working with Twilio or any other services that we connect with, because we've created this interface based on customer feedback and experiences to have everything you need in the order it needs to be in. So very powerful. And then there are advanced settings, right? There are regulatory bundles and areas where there's usage summary. So you are aware of, the calls, pretty much your bill, right? Of what you'll be charged and what's being used. And then here under the manage numbers is where you can go ahead and add a phone number, like an individual number for texting and calls, a pool of phone numbers where they're for different marketing campaigns, and then a verified caller ID. So that way it has your name or business name when you call somebody, right? So very complex, very well-created area for you to have step-by-step action that you can do to get this completed, right? If there's any questions about this, speak of that. Brian, can you discuss considerations with respect to Lead Connector phone system in Twilio? Is it one or the other? This question comes up often. So Lead Connector is housed on Twilio, right? So we're very transparent about that. And we housed Lead Connector on Twilio because we have control over the experiences our customers have and your customers have. So what does that mean? Well, if you go through Twilio on your own, Twilio is really designed for developers, right? And those that are experienced with different coding and connecting the wires, right, manually. What we've done is we've added Lead Connector on top of Twilio. We've built some experiences, so that way you could just press buttons versus adding code or going through different tabs, right? And what we offer is, because of the amount of customers that we have on Lead Connector, we actually offer a discount that we have the ability to have because of the volume that we have, and we pass that discount on to our customers, like the marketers, the agencies, you as the service providers, so you could rebill your customers and earn a monthly recurring revenue from their usage. So we actually, give you a discount so that way you can rebill it, and you can make an additional income from that upsell or rebilling to your customers. Now, rebilling is not required, but it is an option that people take advantage of, right? Another question is here: what is the function of the CNAME and the phone integration function? So CNAME is just a feature within Twilio, within the A2P service suite of just identifying who you are, information, and there's a handful of other acronyms associated with it that I'm not 100% familiar with. But for example, they all play a part in identifying. So if you are a sole proprietor, there are different validations you need to do versus if you are a brand, right? If you are pushing a certain amount of limited volume versus mass volume, there are additional verifications and ramp ups that you need to go through. And this is outside of high level. This is a federal, telephone carrier setup. This is what they've pushed onto us and other service software companies that provide the service or the ability, right? So I hope that gives you some clarity on that, Corinne. Carl, do you have to use phone numbers for our agency? Carl, no, you don't have to. It is recommended that you do use the phone service within high level for your customers and for yourself, because that's where the conversations intertwine with each other, right? So think about it like this. Let's say you didn't activate Lead Connector or Twilio within high level. Well, you wouldn't be able to use AI inbound calling answering or AI outbound call answering or calling. You wouldn't be able to AI communications through text back and forth because you need that feature activated. So do you have to activate it? No. Should you? Yes. Do you have to use it as your primary phone number? No. But you should use it if you're going to activate AI in any of your channels, right? And what's really nice about this, and this comes up often too, is that you're able to actually, with your phone numbers, you're able to take your Lead Connector or Twilio phone number and forward it to another number. So let's say you got calls coming in. Let's say your Twilio or your Lead Connector phone number that you decide to use is very limited, but you want to forward that to your other phone number, your main business line that's on another voice over IP service or a cell phone. You could forward that number over. So there's a lot of flexibility around that. Another question is, can phone numbers be shared among different accounts? One number to a few different in-house accounts. So the phone numbers you create through this are for the actual sub account. Now, if you want to give access to users within a sub account to outbound call or receive calls or to send text messages, receive text messages, you can give access to them to do so. But using that phone number and spreading it across other sub accounts is not available. So every sub account has a dedicated phone number, and that phone number within our UI UX, we do a webhook, and that's something behind the scenes that we do. So that way, Twilio and Lead Connector and you can have those connections come in, and you can take the calls and make the calls. So that's where I'm gonna leave this at the moment. I'm gonna leave this at the moment here because phone numbers get a little complicated, but rest assured we have enough resources, we have enough experience, and we have enough guidance to get you what you need as these great questions come up. They're all great questions, and it's exciting, right? It's exciting for me because if we're asking questions that are relevant to what we're doing, relevant to how we operate the business, that's the answers I want to get to you right away, right? So thank you for your participation on that. Let's move on to the next, right? So next area here is within the settings tab, and this is custom values, right? So custom values allow you to create sections, whether it's used for emails, whether it's used for websites, whether it's used for funnels, whether it's used for any content related areas, any trigger links. You're able to create a new custom value, right? So I like to go with the organization approach, right? So let's create a folder, right? And let's call this sales custom values, right? These are all sales related custom values, right? And with this sales related custom values folder, right, I'll go to my folders tab, I'll double click, and I'll create a new custom value. And let's just say this is for JV sales calendar link, right? Value is let me pull this up here 1 second. Go back. So with the value here, let's say it's the Zoom link. I'll go into add custom value. Let's go after hours sales calendar, right? Create, right? And that created a custom value. 3 dots gives you the access, right? But let's say, John, there's not enough information here. I'm really new to this. Like who, what, where, how, and why, right? So this is where we go to the help.gohighlevel.com and we go custom values, right? And let's start with what we see here first, like, how to use custom values, right? Let's start with this, watch the video, understand it, right? Understand the purpose of it, some examples. Now we're good to go, right? And now, I want to use custom values in conversations. Like I want to use it through text, through email, right? Through SMS. Click here. This brings us to how to use it in those areas, right? So if you start with one search, you start to open up new doors for new context on ways to use it or ways it's being used at the moment, right? So you have that there. Again, that's where this help really makes a difference. So we got custom values. We went over calendar configuration already. Next thing here is the payment integration, right? So as we're getting, you get setup day done, we got to prepare to send out invoices and get paid. Right? That's our goal. First paying customer, we got to collect and get that going. So we want to go to settings first. Right? We want to go to settings. And then in the settings, we want to go to integrations. Right? Go to integrations. And we have some options. We can connect Stripe, right? Want to connect Stripe. This will walk you through step-by-step how to do that. If you want to connect your QuickBooks account, this will give you step-by-step how to do that, right? So you have that availability there. But maybe you said, like, is there any other payment options, right? And you're brand new. So like, you don't know exactly where to go, right? Because you're new to high level. So let's type in payment options, right? Let's say you have an authorized.net account, or let's say you want to know, let's say you have an NMI integration, right? Network Merchants Incorporated integration using somebody part of that network, right? So we go to the authorized.net. This will give you the rundown of what to do, right? Give you some documentation, give you the requirements, give you the walkthrough, right? Some videos, all here, right? Let's say you want to use the NMI integration. Again, content here. Yeah, it takes a little patience. You have to walk through it, but it gives you all the details, so you don't have to go through their help guide, our help guide, and then go to Google or do your own research. Everything's here for you. We've consolidated it, unless there's some massive changes that we just didn't get aware of. But this is a great starting point, right? So now that I know what I know, I'm looking here at some of the screenshots. Okay, well, I don't know why I went to integrations. Let me just go to payments. And when I go to payments, I can click on integrations here. Oh, this is actually a little different, right? So integrations in the settings part gives you different access than integrations in the payment part. And it's important for you to know, because if you think we only use Stripe and you don't want to use Stripe, or Stripe is not available to you, maybe PayPal is, maybe the authorized.net, maybe it's NMI. Maybe you're in India, you want to use Razorpay. Razorpay just came out, we just integrated. So you have the option to install these and connect these step by step by step, right? All here. You want to go payments, integration. So here's my recommendation. Here's what you need to do. Go to payments, you go to integrations, connect your payment source. And here's what's important to remember. If you're going to use Stripe, you need to go to stripe.com, create an account, go through their validation process, go through all of their compliance, right, steps. Same with PayPal, same with authorized.net, NMI, and Razorpay. Once you get that account or account set up through their actual website, Stripe, PayPal, so on and so forth, then with your username and password, you click connect and it'll prompt you to connect and log in through our interface. And then we take it from there to take you step by step. But it's best to sign up directly on the website of these providers so that way there's no frustration around it not working. Any questions on that? If you have any questions on that, throw them in the chat, right? But the goal here is to get this integrated because here's why. As we get our first customer interests in the pipeline, we're then going to with our products, right? Let's say the AI executive assistant, right? Or we have a 1-hour coaching appointment. We have these products in here. You can create your own products as we go. But now we're going to get set up with sending an invoice. So I'm going to go to new invoice. I could do a one-time invoice or I could do a recurring template. And I'm going to answer your question right now. Ariel Gupkin, what if I want to add a different payment method that has an API option? How is that possible? Right, so you need to determine if that API would work through NMI, right? So you do a little bit of research on that part. You have to jump to the help guide, or probably better you just go through speakwith.us/success, like give them all the information. They can double check and confirm with you, right? So that should answer your question there. But now let's say like you don't even want to connect it to your API. Let's say you just want to do it manually, right? You want to just add a link to the invoice or you want to redirect them somewhere else. You could do that, right? Just you got to provide the link in the notes. But let's say, you create this invoice, you add your logo, you add your customer's information, you fill in the issue date, due date, you add your product, which here, we have a sample product. And we actually have templates you can make. So that way, when you click these buttons, it just fills in everything for you. Maybe you have some terms and conditions and these details around fulfillment and follow-up, so on and so forth. That will that'll be all preset for you. On whatever you want to say, you could preset it to say. After you're done with that, you can go ahead and click send, and then that will send the invoice over. Or you could save it, grab a preview. Now, let's say, for example, like in Ariel's case, they're using a third-party software. They don't connect it to high level for whatever reason. It's okay. They could record a payment that they collected. So you still can record a payment that'll get logged to you, even though you don't collect the payment through an integration. Right. So let me see if I could do an example here for you. Right. So I'm going to choose myself as an example, right? Plug my logo here, information here, issue date June 25th, due date June 26th. Right? I want to make sure this is set because this is important. This is how the reminders go out. This is how your customers are gonna be required to pay by. We're gonna add the AI executive assistant. Right? Hit save. It's 197. Right? We'll hit save. Right? Invoice has been saved. We could record a payment. So let's say we want to charge a card, we could do that, or we could do a record manually. So let's say I got a check, right? 197 paid, check number 123, paid 1 month in full. Submit. And now that payment's been complete, and it'll reflect it in the ledger here, right? You have the same where you could do recurring template. So we do the same thing. How often? We want to send a recurring payment monthly. We want it to be on the first of every month, first Monday of every month, every 1 month. We want it to start July 1st. We want it to end never. We want to send the invoice 5 days in advance because it's due on July 1st. So we want to send it June 26th. Add my logo. I want to find who I want to send this to. Right? I'm going to add the item. Okay. Add some additional information that's needed. I'm going to save. Right? And then I'm going to hit schedule. And when I hit schedule, this will be email and text. And this goes back to one of the questions that were asked before, like, do I have to do the phone number? Do I have to do the email? Like, here's where there's an example of how this all works together. Email and phone are ways that we get the invoices out. So you want to get the invoice out how people want to receive them, so that you're not playing collections or chasing people for this, right? You could enable auto payment as needed, so it'll automatically charge the card on file. If you have to CC somebody, maybe you have to CC their accounts payable. Maybe you need to BCC your partner, internal team member. You could do so, right? And that gets scheduled. And now you'll see here, this one is scheduled. Now, I always like to give the advice that you need to label your invoices, right? So let's go back to, let's go to end real quick. We're going to end this one. Because I want to be able to, it's important to label it. So let's just say this is, so I don't want to, for time's sake, before I hit save, I want to rename this to the business name or person's name so I could identify it, right? Because if I go here to the ledger and it's been scheduled or it's been sent out, I want to know, like, what's the business name or the product name? Like, whatever you need to know, you want to have this here. You just don't want it to be new recurring template, right? Maybe it's the business name dash recurring. Maybe it's the first name, last name dash recurring. So this is how that plays there, right? So this is the payment section. If you need to create contracts, you can create contracts. We have some templates that you could pick from or create from scratch. Right, and everything's quick plug and play, pretty easy to go. So there's a lot of flexibility here, right? You could get signatures, you could send signature receipts. So this replaces like DocuSign and PandaDocs and all these other point solutions that you're spending $100, $200 per month as just a new login, a new thing you got to learn. It doesn't connect with everything. So we're replacing all these other one-off solutions with the same approach, quality, great technology, and connectivity, so that way it all talks to each other. So everything lives within the conversations tab, right? New conversations coming in, invoices being sent out. Right here, like here, this invoice was sent out, right? Here's the log, right? So a new onboarding form went out, appointment updated, opportunity created, confirmation went out, payment received. I could view the invoice. Right? I could view the whole invoice that was paid. Right? We go down. They sent out an email that this has been paid. Right? So we have a whole, it's official. It's official. And that's important for you and for your customers. Right? Perception's reality. So if it looks like it's right, not working or not real, people are going to feel that way. Okay. And all of this through the conversation tab, right? Next thing here is the website configuration. So we want to go to the Sites tab again, right? Sites tab. And for the website configuration, we have URL directs, right? So if you want to add a redirect, you can add a redirect, right? If you're not familiar with what a redirect is, you can go to our help doc, or you could do some of your own research on that. If we need to add domains, right? Let me go here. We'll click on the settings gear. We'll click add, and we can go ahead and add a domain, right? And then, with that domain, right, it'll actually check who the provider is for you. It'll do a search on who the provider is for you. And the provider for us is Cloudflare. So it'll do the work as long as you hit the buttons and you give it the access, right? Real important, right? And usually DNS throws people off. It's just a whole process, a little complicated. You add a period when you shouldn't. You add a domain name when you shouldn't, right? And this gives you a little bit more help. So, right, everything goes back to the instruction manual. How to set up a root domain, a subdomain, right? Like terms I can't get into in detail right now for time's sake, but this is the resources that you use. And whether it's for Namecheap, GoDaddy, Cloudflare, Wix, Hostinger, Bluehost, other ones, there's resources here. This has been thought out. These are thousands and thousands of tickets that come in on a daily, monthly, quarterly basis around different features and functions. And our goal of our superhumans, of our leadership, of our support team is to make it easy for you to refer back to and get the result you need and the help, right? So we've done that over time, right? So next thing here we want to go into is the workflows. So snapshots are super popular term, super popular feature within the high-level ecosystem. And so are workflows. And workflows live in the automation tab. So you'll click on automation on the left. You'll have workflows, which it'll automatically go to, right? And you're able to see your active workflows. And again, best advice I can give, create a folder. If the folder is around existing customers, right? Let's say there's several automations you're going to create around existing customers. Let's create a folder, double click that folder. And now let's create our first workflow within the folder. So we click create workflow. And we have some options. You could start from scratch for my advanced users, or we can use some of these pre-made examples based on popularity, use case, so on and so forth, right? So let's say, for example, here, we want to do a birthday template to our existing customers. We'll click select. It'll load up the birthday template workflow. It'll give us some updates on what we need to, what's been upgraded. We'll hit proceed. And I'll walk through this example for you so you can get a little bit of an understanding, right? So here we want to rename this, right, as needed. We want to make it a clear naming convention so you know. So let's say this is, let's say this is 0 to 90 days customers. So any customers from 0 to 90 days, this is the birthday greeting, right? And maybe we have a separate one for, 91 days on. And so there's different variations, different use cases, right? So we have on the top here, we have the builder, we have the settings. Settings here allow you to turn on reentry, stop on response, time zone, right? So you have to go through these things. And if you click on know more, this will give you more context around it. It'll bring you to the high level, instruction manual on all the details that you need. We have enrollment history, so you can see who enrolls in the workflow, right? You can see who's coming in, what happened, how far did they get through the workflow, as well as the execution logs, right? From the 30 days, specific actions, and statuses. So it's very, a lot of detailed reporting available for you. A lot of detailed reporting available, right? So let's go back to the builder, right? The trigger is how everything starts. The trigger is how everything starts. It's important to properly name these steps so you can go back to them, right? And the trigger starts, like, if you're new to this, right, you may think this is it, right? But we need to add a filter. And let's say the filter is around a month, right? And this is for any customers between 0 to 90 days for the month of March or July, whatever it is. We hit save trigger, right? So that is only going to, and this is all based on the information that you and your customer are putting in the forms or exchanging, and you're putting into the contact of your customer's contact record. So if you don't put this information in, it's not going to pull from it. Information has to be there. Okay? So we save the trigger. We could also add another trigger. So let's say this other trigger is from a form. So let's say we have customers that have been with us for the same time, but they never gave us their birthday. We never asked, or we just started doing this thing. So let's say we created a form, and that form was specifically created, and we labeled it the birthday form, right? And let's just say form 1 is the birthday form. This is why the naming convention is important, because you should be able to click and know exactly what it is, right? So we hit save trigger, because now, whether we have the information in the customer database or we are manually asking for it in a separate form, we're going to be able to use both triggers to activate the happy birthday text message. And the happy birthday text message has a custom value. So the custom value is pulling from the name that's in high level or in your white label software. So again, if the information of your customer is not there, it's not going to pull it. It's going to be blank. So you have to have all the information in the customer contact for it to pull as a custom value. Then it's going to wait for 24 hours, and it's going to check, did they respond? If yes, a 20% discount coupon is going to go out to them. If not, nothing's going to happen. It's going to then wait 2 days for their reply. So if there's no reply in 2 days, it'll send another message, right? And that's based off of their positive response or their negative response. So without going too in depth on this, right? This is just showing you the workflow tree that you have full control over. It works off of the information you put into high level. It works off of the settings that you set up within the workflow and the creativity or the use case you needed to do. And this is why it's so popular, because there's a lot of softwares that are out there that don't offer this. And there's a lot of softwares that charge extra if they offer something similar to it. This is included in all of your packages for you to use, right? This is as you start to really learn and understand it, it's so powerful, and you start to really appreciate organization, automation, and customer journeys, right? This is all based off of the customer journey. And the customer journey has everything to do with what you want them to feel and experience at the time that they're going through that relationship with you. If you have any questions on that, throw it in the chat below. More than happy to get you some additional information. Again, we're not going to jump right into this. Remember, we're really just focusing on the conversational AI. And you may be thinking, well, John, we haven't even got into that in depth yet. Well, that's next, right? But I want you to have a full understanding of how the platform works, because the conversational AI feeds into everything I just showed you in some way, shape, or form. So if you turn on the conversational AI, it works and talks to every piece of feature I've showed you. Pretty exciting, isn't it? Okay, so let's get into the conversational AI setup, right? So I want you to just reimagine here again that you completed day 2, setup. So because you completed it, when you go to your settings in your sub account, you're going to go to conversational AI. Now we've already turned on conversational AI in the agency view, which means basically just gives us access to the feature as a whole. But now the pushing of the buttons and pulling of the levers takes place on the sub account. So what you're doing in this sub account does not carry over to the next sub account. You'll have to do this for each sub account because every sub account has different needs. So that being said, we'll go into Conversation AI for this sub account. We're going to go to the bot settings. We're going to make sure that it's on autopilot. If this is not on autopilot, it will not auto respond for you. So this has to be on autopilot, right? We're going to take off these other supported channels, right? Because if we didn't connect our Facebook, our Instagram, our Google business profile, if we didn't activate our SMS or our email, well, then all we really have is the live chat. So we're going to work with the live chat only, right? We're going to make sure our business name is all set up here. Now, here's what's really, 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 really important. Take note. The autopilot mode that we've turned on is going to work with the settings that are here. So wait time before responding is saying that it's going to wait 1 second before it responds back. Now, 1 second is pretty fast, right? 30 seconds, think about a microwave. 30 seconds goes a little bit of a time if you're waiting by the microwave. So between 3 to 5 seconds will give a human-like response of someone dedicated to that job of taking care of customers. So if you want to go 1 second, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, up to you. The next tier is maximum messages the bot can send to a contact. So because people have different intentions, it's 2 cents a message. We put a guardrail where you can only send out 10 messages if that's what you want the number to be. You could change this to 15 messages. But once it hits 15 messages, you need to respond to a message for it to reset and go back to another 15 that it'll send out. If you don't respond to it, it'll stop communicating on your behalf, right? And then another thing to keep in mind here is the send bot to sleep, right? So in order to send the bot to sleep, you need to interrupt it. So you need to respond while it's responding. So let's say it sends a message out and then you jump in and send another message out. Well, you've just interrupted the bot. It's going to go to sleep now, right? So it'll go to sleep for 2 hours. I say if you're going to respond, let's say it's an active time and it's a regular business hours. And let's say you plan on like being 50-50, like 50 in the messages, 50 auto response. I say give it, let's say 25 minutes, that if I interrupt, it won't respond to that person for 25 minutes. I mean, respond at all for 25 minutes. And that gives me a chance to kind of go through messages, do what I got to do. So after my last message, the 25-minute timer goes on. Maybe you want it for 8 minutes because it's a busier day than normally. And you don't want questions or concerns to go unanswered, right? So you have that flexibility, right? Greg, your question was, did the unlimited price go up from $49 per month? Yes, price, it did increase for those that haven't activated it. So if you have the $49 one, you're grandfathered in. If you never activated at the discount, this is the new price of $78, right? So these are things that we send out notifications around, and you have that flexibility of going 2 cents a message or going unlimited plan, all right? So these are the settings. You're welcome, Greg. You're welcome. These are the settings here that you have available, and they all make a difference. So let's just recap here quickly, because a lot of troubleshooting and frustration comes with this is not working. So autopilot mode on, live chat's the only supported channel. Your autopilot mode is set for 1 to 5 seconds. You choose. Maximum messages is 10. And you can send the bot to sleep if you interrupt it for 10 minutes. Hit save. If you don't hit save, your current settings will stay. So once you do that, you're good to go, right? This is part one of the setup, right? The next tier is the bot training, right? So let's say, for example, here, this bot is designed to support high level, right, as an agency, offering AI assistant. So what I've done here is I've had the bot crawl the gohighlevel.com website. I've uploaded links that questions come up about. So it grabbed those links, it scanned them, it trained them. If I've updated some new information since last, I want to refresh it. So it'll go back to that website and scan it. If I want to remove a site, I could remove it, right? So you want to stay up to date because website changes happen, right? So you have that flexibility here. If you want to ask, enter in custom questions, you go to the add Q&A, add the question and the answer to that question. The answer you give will be the answer it shares until it optimizes it, right? So now let's just go into a scenario. Let's say that you are working with a barbershop or a hair salon. Well, you're doing some research, you're grabbing from the customer some frequently asked questions that they're usually asked, but you feel like you might be missing something. So maybe you go onto some other websites manually on your browser to see what they have out there. And maybe they don't really have anything because their websites are not updated. So then you jump onto ChatGPT or any AI software and you put in a prompt. I'm a hair salon owner. I'm looking to bring on a customer service representative to assist me with answering questions about the business. What are 50 questions that I should train my customer service rep with to be prepared to answer? And then that'll spit out maybe 50 questions. Some are relevant, some are irrelevant. It happens, but it's a great guide to now fill in the information, right? So you have some options with that. And here are your options. You can manually type in the question and the answer, or you can get a Google Doc, make sure it's public, put in the question and the answer, right? Put in the question and the answer, make sure that Google Doc is public, throw that Google Doc into the URL section, and then have the bot scan that Google Doc for all the information, and then it'll add it into the training, right? So that'll help you build upon the knowledge base that you have. So, for example, we do it for this bot, right? So here's the Google Doc. I created the Google Doc for the Snapshot AI training. I'm giving it some context of who you are, what you do, question, answer, question, answer, right? And I can type these off of how I want them exactly set, or I can use ChatGPT for inspiration based around the question and the answer I want it to give, and it'll formulate question answers for me. I'll copy and paste it. I'll make sure that it's available, and I will make it public, and it will then scan it and remember it, right? Any questions on that? Steve, I got you next. That's what I'm going to show next year. Steve Bailey's question is, can the chatbot be embedded in a client's website? So I'm going to show you guys that next. And that's going to wrap us up. That's going to wrap us up. Great question and great way for us to close out, right? So we have the conversational AI. You're aware of how to upload the domains you want to upload. Okay, but here's, right, because I've seen a lot of different experiences. Don't upload your competitors or other businesses' websites on here, because you don't want to give people answers to another business, right? So you can grab inspiration, but put it on a Google Doc. You only want to scrape your website. You only want it to crawl your website, not anyone else's, right? Because that could be embarrassing with what it pushes out, right? So you have the add Q&A. You can do the Google Doc and be good to go, right? When it comes to configuring intents, you can set up the appointment booking. So it'll request, it'll set up for an appointment booking. And now we have the voice AI agents. Now you could do voice AI agents, right? So you can create an agent, add a phone number that's associated. So like this is, again, back to the question that was asked. Do I need to use a phone number? You don't have to, but the phone number here allows you to activate the voice AI agent experience. You need to have the phone number within, right? So now you can even add voice AI as an additional cost, fee, service to what you're doing with the AI chatbot, AI executive assistant, whatever you name it, right? So as we do that, this is the Conversation AI hub of where you make all your changes and what you need done, okay? So Steve had a question about, actually, like, we've got the Conversation AI part done. Now, how do we add the actual bot, right? And that's in the step two, day 2 training, but I'll show it to you live because it's that easy. It's that easy. I can just show it to you live, right? So I set up the Conversation AI. I'm going to go to sites. Go to sites. I'm going to go to chat widget on the top here. Chat widget on the top here. I could change the photo of my chat widget, my intro message. Everything's customizable here. My messaging for return visitors, right? I want to make sure this is on live chat because if I don't have SMS or email, so if I don't have SMS or email chat, it won't work, right? Because if those aren't activated, this is what it uses. But there's a difference on the output. So if you do SMS or email chat, this is almost like an answering, I'll get back to you approach, right? This is like, we're closed right now. And this is like the old school way, right? Of how people used to do it, like contact us form, contact chat form, right? What you're offering as a service is the AI live chat assistant. So you want the live chat feature on. This is a live chat, two-way conversation on the widget, same widget, different feature function, right? So we want this turned on. Widget window has more information. Want to capture email, call to action, like customize the color. You have flexibility here. Add your agency name or your customer's business name, the website, right? All these different features here. You want to go through them step by step. Acknowledgement settings, the thank yous. Maybe it's in a different language. Maybe it's a different tonality. All of this is all set up here. If you're in Australia, there's a different way to talk. If you're in the UK, different way to talk. If you're in different parts of the country, maybe different languages. All available for you to customize, right? We're not going to get too in depth, but I just want you to see it, right? So we'll go then, we'll click save. We want to save the settings first. Now to Steve's question, there's a couple ways you could do this. Now, if your customer is using your website feature within high level, then you could just turn it on and it'll connect to it. If they're using WordPress or another site builder, you'll have to get the code. And when you get the code, you'll have to copy the code and they'll have to put it on each page they want it on, right? If they're using WordPress, we have a direct integration with our app that you can download the Lead Connector app on WordPress, download it, and it'll do all the connecting for you. And what's nice about this is that once you do this, whether it is through the code or through the app within the plugin directory of WordPress, if you download and your customer downloads the Lead Connector app, all the conversations that are coming in through the live chat will come in right through your app on the phone, in addition to the web browser. So that you're in sync in communication at all times. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? Right? I see a couple messages here from Mark and Vincent. I don't have voice AI agent. I might have let the cat out the bag here a little too early. So let's cut that out. That's a beta, so it may not be available to your account yet. The beta. Just to clarify, it is a beta. We have a bunch of betas that are out there. But here's what I will say, and this brings me to a great point. I'll get to that. I'll get to how to activate betas if they're available for you to activate in a moment. But I just want to get through a couple of questions here. Business growth success. Can AI executive assistant and MCTB exist at the same time? Yes, they can. But you got to keep in mind that there's some complexity where if you have the MCTB set up through the settings, like you just have to make sure that you don't have MCTB set up in two different areas, right? So it could be in the company setup page where it says automatically respond back. And then it could also be in the workflows, right? So even if you have them set up in the company settings and the workflows, there'll be two messages going out for a missed call text back. That's just annoying for people. And you've probably experienced that, right? So you want to just make sure you're not having multiple features on in different ways, because it goes back to what I shared yesterday. High Level has so many ways of doing things. There's really very limited restrictions. Like you really have full access to duplicating and having multiple things cross over each other and customize it by time and reaction and intent and all these great things. Just want to go back and make sure your naming convention's good, so you can know what to suspend or alter as needed. So a little bit off the beaten path on that one, but I wanted to get that question answered for you, business growth success. But finishing up here, want to connect the lead connector. That'll get the chat widget live on the website that's using WordPress, and you're all set up. Michael Bolosimo asked here, can we have different branding for different niches under the same high-level account? For instance, if I have a chiropractor client, see a brand like Chiro AI when they log in, and dentists see Dentist AI when they log in, without having two separate high-level accounts. No. So, like for example, here you would need two agency accounts, right? Because keep in mind here, you have your app.chiroai.com, right? That is your main agency account. And then you'll have another agency account for dentalai.com. So we don't have the ability to, that I'm aware of. If you go to help.gohighlevel.com, or maybe there's an update that Sean and the team put out there that I just didn't catch in the last day or so. But we can't do that right now, as I remember. Feel free to quote me on it, but I'm sure that'll be available in the future. And that'll be amazing. So I see your use case. So that part's there. I want to get into the beta part, right? Because that came up by accident. It's never really come up before because the AI AI voice agent's brand new. I just saw it for the first time here. So here's what I want to introduce you to. When you go to settings, right, so you go to agency view, you go to settings, click on labs, right? Labs under the agency view is only available for you as the agency owner operator to turn on features that are in beta at the moment. So in this example here, granular permission, structure, and new functionalities, a bunch of information around it. Could submit some feedback. This goes live in 36 days, but you could turn it on now to experience the beta. The voice agent's not on here. I got to get clarification on it. I'll get you guys an update here tomorrow on those details. But that's just something that we have an ads launch program that allows you to create Facebook ads, meta ads right from your account and go live. That's in beta. Select few people have access to it. They're running experiences and applying pressure to it. So that'll become available to all in the labs, and then they can turn it on fully for all their accounts, at setup, right? So in wrapping this up here, did everyone have a chance to like visualize, hold on tight, right? Whether you're grabbing onto my arm, my leg, my shirt. I know I'm going fast. I know I'm going fast. I know we're going in depth. But if you were to watch this replay again at your own pace, you'll be able to piece everything together, whether it's at 1.0 speed or 2.3 speed, right? And if you're listening to this at 2.3, I wonder how I sound, and you're sharp. You got great ears. So kudos to you. But you should be able to use this as a reference. This video, once I end this training, we're 5 minutes over. Apologize for that. But once I hit this training done, it's gonna live in the Facebook groups. So I told you to join the 5-Day AI Challenge Facebook group. It'll also live in our official community, our SaaSpreneur, all those groups. So you can go right to the featured section. You go to a high-level business page, facebook.com/high-level reviews, and it'll be right in the newsfeed too. And you could go back and watch that as needed. Y'all have been amazing, right? We went over a lot of things. Every time I do this challenge, we run this challenge like every other week. So after this challenge this week, we have a great workshop. I wish I could share all the details for that yet, but wait till you see that workshop. That'll be next week on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. But with what I've learned with all of you, whether you're returning, sharing feedback, direct, indirect, passive, use case, examples, I take all of it and I just embed it in the next batch of our training for folks like yourself. So please share the feedback. I mentioned yesterday, don't watch the old ones. Watch the current ones. So watch yesterday's and today's. Wait till tomorrow for tomorrow's. If you're watching the replay, if you're in Australia, UK, another part of the country where you're not going to listen to me at 2 a.m. in the morning, I won't take it personal. But just get you the most updated information. And keep throwing information in the chat. When we're done with this, I'm going to take all these comments and questions. I'm going to throw them into ChatGPT. I'm going to summarize it. I'm going to work with my colleagues behind the scenes, superhumans. Jordan, who's been amazing moderating, just showing you guys, world-class service and experience as we're going through this live. We're going to partner up and get you all the answers you need. So that way you're not having to read through the instruction manual page by page. All right. So y'all, this time is up. We're done. We did it. We got it done. You made it through day 2. But wait, there's more. You got to get in to the membership course. You got to do the assignments if you haven't done it yet. Once you're done with that, you got to jump into day 3. My ask of you is to do day 3 today. So when you either watch the replay or join me live tomorrow at 12 p.m., you get the flow already, right? And Haplin's going to go over it from an entry level, easy to adopt way if you're not salesy or you're not a fan of sales. And then I'm just going to add additional color and highlighting and italicizing and some bold, right, to what he shared with some of my experience and some great use cases and stories that our current challengers and past challengers have shared and received great results, right, from each other. So we have a jam-packed day tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern. Be here or watch the replay. It was an amazing time with you. For all of you, Dwight, Corinne, Nola, Michael, Kashif, Steve, Christina, Business Growth, Tori, Andy. I mean, all of it. I mean, I have to go on and on here. I'll be another 15 minutes if I go through everybody. But thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for your engagement. Thank you for taking this serious. Thank you for taking the challenge. This isn't for everybody. Many people start and they just don't even get past day 2. It's just overwhelming. So if you're here, it's meant to be. And if it's to be, it's up to you to get it done. Tomorrow, 12 p.m., I'll see you at Eastern Standard Time. Till then, be safe and get ready, because we're about to launch our AI agency that's going to be profitable and help small to medium-sized businesses get the results they've been looking for at an affordable and